Today I'd like to do a video as a global update. I've had a few people ask if I could do one, so here I am. I'm going to attempt to do this regularly. I don't know what that looks like, but here we go. So it looks like the first wave of the pandemic is starting to slow down globally. I totally think that, there's going to be another one, whether you want to say it's going to be in the fall or whether it's just when people start coming back out, whatever leads up to it. I definitely think there's going to be another widespread pandemic issue. So just, keep that in mind. Next, the U.S. and global economy is doing really bad. I guess no sugarcoating that one. The oil industry is in really bad shape globally. That's not good either. We are printing a lot of money in the States to do these stimulus packages and things. The US dollar isn't backed by anything anymore. It hasn't been since we left the silver and gold standard a long time ago. And the only thing that really backed the dollar is oil and the military, and oil is not doing good right now. It could come back up, but right now it's not. Unemployment is skyrocketing. Right now businesses are closing internationally. They've been closed for some places months. The U.S., as of right before making this, I Googled U.S. population, so take that for what it's worth. The U.S. has a population of 320 million per Google. If we continue at this rate that we're on, I think right now we're at like 25 million unemployed officially. That's people actively requesting unemployment and actively looking for employment through services. So obviously it's going to be more than that. If we continue on that rate, we're looking at about 80 to 100 million unemployed at the peak. At least that's my personal thought. It could be more. I doubt it would be more. But we are in very unprecedented times, so who knows? If you just take those numbers, you're looking at 1 out of every 3.2 people not having a job. So just for perspective, again, not you thinking that your whole, block or county road that you live on is going to be unemployed. But if you just kind of sit back to put that in perspective, and you think this is our house, say you have, 4 people there, that means that, one of them would be unemployed, and you look to the left and to the right, so they have 4, 2 people in one, 4 people in another. That's 2 out of those 2 households that are unemployed. So just prospectively, obviously that's not the numbers it would be, but hopefully not. But just something to consider. Domestic meat processing is suffering. Here in the States, we're starting to shut down, not all of them, but they're definitely the larger of the processing manufacturing areas are shutting down. The NBC Nightly News last night, this is, that was April 25th, 2020, just for reference, said that as of that reporting, that domestically we were already 25% down in meat production, and it doesn't look like it's going to get fixed anytime soon. Farmers are having to dump millions of gallons of milk because those farmers cannot sell commercially. They're not set to sell in a grocery store. They're set to sell to restaurants and big areas like that. It's a legal thing on the federal level, and like it or not, that's where we're at. I think that would be an opportune time for an executive order signing to just change that. Food banks. Food banks have very long lines. This last week there were videos of, I think, Houston, Los Angeles. I tried thinking, I think those are them. They had food lines that were miles long of cars, 2 deep on both sides, miles of cars that weren't moving. And that should be a huge red flag that we have that going on across the country, and I guarantee across the world right now. The problem that is on the horizon is that those food banks are starting to lose inventory, and they usually, because they usually have, this number, whatever that number is for that area, and now they're like here with the need of food that needs to go out. And a lot of them just weren't prepared for that. And the food donations that go in are drastically reduced because most, if not all of those people that were making those donations, stores, whatever it might be, restaurants, can't. So they're losing inventory and they're having a really hard time getting inventory in. So that is something to watch on the horizon. With all that going on, we've got stuff shut down, food, unemployment. We're already in a really bad spot. And, if China just wanted to prove itself as being powerful, which it's, everyone is not a fan right now, that it looks like, publicly, officially, that they were not truthful in the numbers. So, they could call their debt and say, we really are in charge of the global economy and we really do own all these countries. So pay us all the money you owe us or we're going to own you. That might not happen, but that's definitely, a possibility just as to give us a wake-up call. Next, storms are beginning to ramp up in the south here in the States. There are numerous tornadoes that have already been going crazy for the last few weeks. And, it's springtime coming into summer, so you just need to make sure to, watch what the weather plans are, know what to look for bad weather if your television goes down, your service. Next, locusts in Africa. I thought this was common knowledge. I talked to a couple of people last week. They had no idea this was going on, so I guess I'll tack this on here too. There has been a huge swarm of locusts that has been devastating Africa and the Middle East. And it's been going on for months. It's been going on for a long time, but it's been really bad in the last few months. And the issue is these huge swarms, like county-size swarms of locusts, are coming in. They're eating all the plants and stuff, and they're moving on to the next section. I think it was on the BBC that I watched. They said that they are consuming roughly in a day what 30,000 people would eat. And the problem is they're eating all the stuff that's in the fields, and that means that farmers don't have that to sell to people. And it also means that the animals they have, if they are growing that food to feed the livestock to then sell those animals or whatever they might do, milk them or whatever, they don't have the food to feed those animals, which means they have to buy food. Some of them can't afford the food, so they're having to sell off their animals, which means that they now have no animals and no crops to handle. And it's just a really bad situation. And Ethiopia, just to pull that one out, the BBC had something 2 days ago, and they said that the current locust swarm could be 20 times larger than the previous one. I think they were referring to one a few months ago, but because these are all cycling back through Africa. And 400 times larger by June of this year. And that's just Ethiopia. That's not counting the rest of the continent. And that's the world update. So economy, US, food, locusts in Africa, storms.